Yeah. You. Yeah.
There he is. Who needs fabric? We still have stuff.
Did you hear about Naguno? Found him dead.
The old guy from the swordfish. No kidding.
It was lovely to see you again.
Someone snuck up there looking for secrets.
Damn.
Godlike! Winds above! You're really here! I knew I had to find you as soon as I heard you were in Thirdborn. We've got to do something about the Dream Scourge. It's worse every day. One of our neighbors wasn't himself, and we can't afford to lose anyone. We need people who will fight back. People like my Uncle Capo.
I've heard of Capo. He's a local hero, right? The one who killed the Leviathan above the market?
That Leviathan hanging over the market? That was his work. Exactly! Uncle Capo's the greatest warrior Thirdborn's ever seen. But, well, Thirdborn hasn't seen the Capo I know in a long time. I've tried everything to convince him to get out of the house. He may be old now, but we can still use his experience. If Thirdborn could see him up on those walls, they'd all follow him. I hate to impose, but would you pay him a visit? He lives on the northeast side of town. He's tired of hearing from me. Maybe one hero to another, you know?
If you need something... let me guess. My Nikai sent you. That kid's been muttering about sending some new hero by. Damn child won't stop hovering over me. They keep trying to send so-called heroes over to cheer me up, but there's not much point these days. Back when Thirdborn was no more than a husk on the cliffside, we had real heroes. I've slain 1,000 Zorops, wrestled rock beetles, even slew the Leviathan. Let me tell you. I had but a few harpoons and a single boat that morning. It had taken days to track the creature. My food and water were running out. When I found it, the beast heaved itself up from the water and crashed down onto me. And there, I thrust a harpoon deep into its belly and killed it. Oh, it took days to tow its body back on the flotsam of my boat.
Not that anyone asked, but it sounds to me like the fish killed itself.
Ah, well, those days are long past. I'm a sick old man now. Which I can do in Thirdborn anymore. Still, maybe Chico was onto something when they sent you. You're the one who cleared the dream thralls at the gates, aren't you? Ah, good to know someone is looking out for Thirdborn at least. I tell you what. This old man would like to ask a boon of you. One hero to another. I promise it'll be worth your while. I want to see my heart one last time. Will you get it for me? Ah, I'm impressed. Did you like my designs? I've been decorating that old ruin with traps for would-be thieves for years. Ah, well, I'm glad somebody thinks so. Fools here didn't appreciate my talents until the Dream Scourge showed up.
Does that mean we're going through the gauntlet again? Can we rest first?
Huh. Well, you managed well enough. Now, the heart. Thank you. You've made an old man very happy in his last days. Here, take this. You have more use for it than I do now. Ampara, I'll see you along the wheel soon.
Let me know if you need something. Best weapons this side of Abidan's forge.
Yeah.
The Archmage certainly knows how to make a first impression.
I hadn't had a chance to see. See all this before. It's magnificent. Come on, let's go introduce ourselves to an Archmage. This is it. Ringrim was definitely here.
What gave it away? The tableau of frozen corpses? The Archmage of Terror is many things, but subtle is not one of them.
Yes, but look at them. The artistry is sublime. Can you imagine having enough finesse for all this?
Whatever you say, Yatzli. Regardless, we didn't come across this by accident. The Archmage is trying to frighten us. Successfully, I might add.
A spell. And a very clever one. Ringrim's using her illusions to make people choose to stay away. Everyone except us. Of course I probably can. All spells have a counter. You just have to know what it is. But we can figure that out later. Right now, we have to focus on what's at the end of that passage. Precisely. Chances are we'll die, but if we don't, we stop Ludwig and get into the ruins. So, win-win.
I like our odds, especially with you around.
Let's get going. Oh, and stay close. These are so lifelike. Poor bastards. Whoever cast this barrier must be formidable. Which means it was Ringrim and we shouldn't mess with it. Let's chat with her first.
Either way, she won't be happy to see us.
Have you ever thought of doing anything with the coal around your eyes?
Right. Did you somehow not see the thick stripe across my eyes?
No. I mean designs other than the stripe. To the camp of an official Aedyr and envoy, I was expecting a little more. A proper bed, at least. But I suppose this will do for now. As long as you have a bath, of course. Just as things could be worse, they could also be a lot better, envoy. But as riveting as it is to complain about our accommodations, I imagine you have another topic in mind? I'm the only buyer you'll find here, and I already have a lesson for next time, darling. It's always worth some haggling. Unfortunately, it's been quite some time since I've met another who focused on the godless as I do. And I imagine I'd be more knowledgeable on the subject than anyone else you could find. Technically, yes. Well, it set me on the path, at least. When I got my first grimoire as a child, I was trying out some of the fancy new spells I'd been given. I was attempting a simple illusion spell, but I must have slurred my words. The next thing I know, everything was on fire. No! Well, me, obviously, but otherwise, no. What is childhood but for silly things? When else can you get away with arson? My father was able to pull me from the flames as my mother doused them. I burned myself badly enough to give myself some vivid dreams, but the house still stood at the end. Of course. Now I only burn those that deserve it, like mosquitoes and university administrators. The only lasting damage was my burn mark and the dreams. Usually I enjoy a bit of pain, but this was a bit too much. I wouldn't recommend it. As delightful as you are, we've much to do and less time to do it in. Shall we go?
What's that you're drinking?
Oh, envoy, might I steal a moment of your time? Well, it's the waiting that makes the payoff so delicious, don't you agree? I can't believe Fjore's gone. A city of scientists, attacked for no reason. I'm going to personally find every Steel Garrote asshole and turn them to ash. I can't believe we were able to get as many out of town as we were. I suppose I'll have to give him that. But if you tell him I said that, I'll deny it to my dying day. Besides, Quilici and I did just as much to help people out. At least we were able to get everyone to safety. Though with everything happening in Thirdborn, safe might be relative. At least Merity will keep an eye on them. I think she knows what'll happen if she doesn't. I know, and she knows. Let's leave it at that. Long enough that I trust her to do her best by everyone. You see, Emerald Stair has Naku Tedek. For a young and aspiring godless scholar, it was a godsend, if you'll forgive the pun. And, as a young-at-heart godless scholar, I've traveled outside the stair to other ruins. That's how I met Temerity. Thirdborn's close to Naku Kubel. And a girl's gotta eat sometime. In fact, there are. But I'd spent the better part of my childhood in them. I had to go out and find new ruins to get lost in. Have you no sense of adventure, envoy? I still go out often. I've cataloged many ruins, but there are always more. And coming home to a warm welcome is lovely. You should try it sometime, darling. Oh, part of it is my sparkling personality, of course, but a larger part of it is time. It's hard to hate someone when they drop by your lab with lunch after you've forgotten to eat again. My mother always said that the way to a man's heart was through his stomach. Guilichi and I got together the old-fashioned way, though. I saw a beautiful man across a smoky tavern. Then I dazzled him with my delightful personality. Then he showed me an abandoned ruin outside of town, and I was hooked. Oh, it's not a fairy tale, darling. We've been happy for the most part. Any rough patches got smoothed over well enough. I only thought about killing him once or twice. He's probably thought the same a bit more. I still can't quite believe that everything we've built is gone. A generation of work scattered to the wind. It makes you wonder how everything will turn out. Right. The city can be replaced, but not its residents. Thank you, Envoy. I feel a little less frazzled. I've got a lot to think on. Talk to you soon? Try not to have too much fun with help. How can I help? How can I help, darling? Well, I suppose you've earned that much. And I do enjoy rewarding tenacity. Though between your dreams and mine, it's a wonder anyone gets any sleep around here. You remember that I nearly burned my family home down when I was young? It was an accident, and I paid for it. My parents refused to buy me more spell books for years. Well, shortly after all that fuss, the dream began. It started at first with a fire. Just flames, crackling, and a feeling of safety. I thought it was a little weird, but nice. But then the dream kept coming back, night after night. I learned more every time. I saw that it was a fire in a hearth, and that hearth was in an old library. I assumed it was a library, at least, to explain why there were so many tablets lining the walls. Oh, everything from dry historical recountings to treatises on agricultural techniques. No romances, though. Whoever filled the library must have been allergic to them. No, never actively. I had read them all previously, if that makes any sense. That's actually how I learned the Aedyr language. Just woke up with that knowledge. Which is very useful when you can find no written records. In the library, there's just one person, but they're wearing a hood, so I never see their face. They do the same thing every night. They curl up in a chair by the fire, tablet to their chair chest, and then the fear comes. The paralyzing, all-encompassing fear of something. Just the noise. A low, deep banging starts, and it rattles through your bones and shakes you to your core. And it replaces the beat of your heart with this droning on and on and on until you forget every other sound you've ever heard.
A beat. Still feet on the shore. They come by night.
And then, as it just gets louder and louder, and right before it gets there, I wake up.
You've been listening to too many of Giada's ghost stories.
And let me tell you, waking up in a cold sweat does nothing for my fur. How sibilant. No. Just that it's all-encompassing. It's strange. I've not told many of the details of my dream. I suppose I must like you quite a bit, Envoy. Don't let it inflate your ego too much. You know, Envoy, we've traveled enough that I think I've gotten a handle on your style. Style of fighting, I mean. Your fashion sense is more opaque. But listening to your incantations, they could use some tightening up. I could probably teach you a thing or two, if you're up for it. What do you say? How about I show you a little bit of everything? What? Out of breath already? Talk to one of the boys. See if they can help with your stamina, dear. Well, I've taught you all I can. Let's hope you put it to good use. How to know when to be quiet. What a lovely gift to find on my pillow.
Oh, interesting. I suppose if you're on a wild goose chase, there are worse places to do it. At least I know how to deal with those sorts of things. Rope, lantern, extra water skins. Yatzli's got you going in all sorts of abandoned ruins. Who knows what's down there? More questions, most likely. And spiders. How come the answers are never in a little oasis with shade and drink service? I just want to make sure we've covered all the options before we dive headfirst into another deadly ruin. Right. Just keep it in mind, I guess. Anyway. Oh, good. Let's have it. When I was a child in Solace, a warden named Ilinka taught me the basics. What berries to eat, how to build a shelter, and so on. Later, I started going out on patrols, just to get experience in the wilds. By the time I was 15, I was going out on my own. I was usually part of a small patrol, maybe 4 wardens. We'd travel the roads in Galawain's tusks, and I was in charge of camp. We'd make sure the Zarps weren't getting restless, the roads were clear of bandits, and the lava flows weren't flooding. Turns out I was just good at surviving on my own, so I kept doing it, and I kept getting better at it. Right, changing the subject. Anyway, what do you need? Not before I've done some reading.
Seeing Capo like that was hard, Envoy. He'd just given up, and we let him do it. It should have been Chico's too. You helped me come to terms with losing Tama. I just worry we've robbed Chico of that chance. Maybe so. And about Capo's secret.
Yatzli, no pressure, but why haven't you and Quilici settled down yet?
We're happy as we are now. Well, living in sin suits us.
Scandalous. Well, it makes sense. He doesn't keep with any tradition or ceremony from the old country.
I've never stayed in one place for very long, but settling down with someone sounds nice.
Sounds like a good way to get stuck in one place to me.
You'll never know until you try.
Okay, best food you've eaten. Go.
Fury.
I wish we could have done more for them. Capo and Chico, I mean. But if I were in his shoes, I hope I'd make the same choice. Though I'd like to pick a more fun way to die. Of course. Even when it's expected, or even preferable, it's always a tragedy. I can only hope that at the end I have some control over things. That I can go out as Yatzli. And don't you forget it. But it gives you something to think about. I mean, not everyone gets to come back like you did, Envoy. Well, that's all I had to say. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Unless there's something else you want to chat about? How can I help, darling? Careful what you wish for, darling. So, the Godless, or the Aedyr, as they called themselves, were the original folks who lived in the living lands. They arrived on the shores of a new land and settled there, living with the land instead of trying to tame it. You sound certain. Well, that would align with my own findings. But how could you know that? Oh, well, I should definitely trust it. But dubious metaphysics notwithstanding, you corroborate my theory. The Godless are so singular. Their art and architecture, you never see it in Rawatai or Ishamatul or, well, Aedyr. But in their artwork, they reference escaping, fleeing, seeking refuge, so they must have come from somewhere. My guess, they originally came from Yesua. Yesua, a continent, cut off from the rest of the world, hidden by eternal storms, one of the 3 hubs of the Angwithan Empire. 10 years ago, you could say that it was a dream, but they said the same of Ukaiso. Suddenly, the appearance of a mythical land doesn't seem so implausible. There was some kind of schism, an ideological. From what I can glean, the Godless were staunchly against the gods, hence their name. There are even some not-so-kind murals of the gods. It seems like the Godless really took their anti-theism seriously. I have my reasons, and it is fascinating, isn't it? Well, I think we've covered everything, don't you? Rather, as much as I think you'll withstand. Hope you enjoyed talking about this as much as I did, dearie. How can I help, darling? Don't let the bedbugs bite, dearie. Do you think those Aedyrans were onto something? Do you think they can really cure the Dream Scourge? You may be right. I just hope we made the right decision. Even if they don't have a cure when we see them next, maybe they'll have a treatment. Even then, that would be a gift. Now that the researchers can research, think of what we'll learn. A cure might sound far-fetched, but what if they find treatments for the Dream Scourge? And even other ailments? Oh, I can't wait to see how far they've come when we see them again. Well, that's all I had to say. I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Unless there's something else you want to chat about? How can I help, darling? We've been traveling together for a little while. I just have to know. Did you purposefully choose such colorful company, or is that just what you attract naturally? I mean, I'm very clearly a delight, so it's obvious why you let me stick around. But Kai's hiding a lot behind that humor of his, isn't he? Thinking that could be Quilichi in me is not something I want to think about. And Marius, I don't know what's lurking in him, but I do think he should speak to someone on it. If he reaches out, do try, will you? As for Giada, well, clearly Giada is a gem. As for me, well, I'm just as riveting as you, but the boys are giving me a run for my money. A very fine sentiment. You do strike me as a people person. Tell me, do you get along with all you meet? I understand. It's hard to be away from one you love, even for the best reasons. Can I ask about them? Your sweetheart? Putting that experience taming wild stallions to good use, is she? A woman after my own heart. And here I thought I had a wild youth exploring ruins. You might be putting me to shame, dearie. Quilici is quite good at knowing when to be sweet and when to be sour.
Yatzli, that's my surrogate father you're talking about? Spare my imagination, if you please.
Oh, you knew the risks when you came over uninvited, darling. It's on your head. Well, you've satisfied my curiosity. I'll leave you alone to do whatever envoys do. How did you end up in Paradise?
I was drifting.
That's done. Look, it's hard.